How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store's holiday sale continues on with its refresh of deals. We covered deals under $5 a little while ago. Also, I mentioned how a lot of the deals have cycled out. That is, in fact, the case. A bunch of the deals have cycled out as of today. So, yeah, that was your last chance as far as to get those yesterday. But you still got a lot of great stuff available, so let's get right into it for the stuff under 10 bucks. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. Right off the top, Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection is 50% off for $9.99. This is on PlayStation Plus Premium, but that's top tier. I don't know how many of you guys still have that, but Nathan Drake collection is awesome. You know, this, in my opinion, with Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, is Naughty Dog at its absolute peak. It was really the release of Uncharted 1 to Last of Us Part 1 in 2013 that I thought that 6-year stretch, Naughty Dog was in a league of their own to me. Uncharted 1 from 2007 shows its age for sure. Much like a lot of games from 2007, you look at Mass Effect 1, Witcher 1, all from 07, all do show their age. But Uncharted 1's still a decent playthrough, and I still quite like the game. Could use a full-on remake of that. Uncharted 2, in my opinion, is one of, and you can make the argument, the greatest PlayStation 3 game ever released. You know, that's a tough debate with all of the excellent games, but Uncharted 2 is a phenomenal game and really built upon the foundation that Uncharted 1 set up. Uncharted 2 is just a tremendous game, and I was like 13 years old when Uncharted 2 came out, and I remember being blown away by that game then. I remember E3 of 2009 with the helicopter section. It was just a marvelous time for gaming when Uncharted 2 came out. And then Uncharted 3 is really good as well. I feel like Uncharted 2 set the bar so high that Uncharted 3 kind of met that bar, maybe fell a little bit short, but, you know, it didn't have the wow factor of Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 really had that wow factor of being so much better than Uncharted 1. But nonetheless, all three games for $9.99, definitely a good pickup. You play these three, you play 4, you play Lost Legacy, and then you hope that Uncharted makes a comeback at some point. And I'm sure it will, but, you know, leave the consumer wanting more, leave the fan wanting more. That's something that I always feel like Naughty Dog's been pretty good with, although I don't know about you Jack fans. I think we might have to put that to rest. Next up, we got Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection, 67% off for $9.89. You guys know me. I love me my Mega Man. I want a new Mega Man game, but for now, I gotta sink my teeth into all of these collections that Capcom is dropping. This collection is pretty damn good. You get 0, 1 through 4, which were originally Game Boy Advance games. Definitely on the challenging side, definitely a little bit on the shorter side, but worthwhile games to go through. And then you get ZX and ZX Advent, which are two of the most underrated Mega Man games. They were released on the Nintendo DS, and they were more Metroidvania-style Mega Man games. They were so good. I believe a third ZX game was in development, but then it got canned. Unfortunate as far as that's concerned, but this collection, you get 6 games for sub 10 bucks. That is a great deal. It's just, you know, these games are dated. That's what you're gonna get with these Mega Man collections. You know, no matter the collection you pick up, whether it be the Battle Network collection, the X collection, the Zero ZX Legacy collection in this case, they're all going to show their age, but they're all still pretty damn worthwhile, and fingers crossed that we one day see a brand new Mega Man game release in terms of not a collection, a Battle Network 7, an X9, something like that, and I think we will, but gotta be patient for that. Next up, Mafia 2, the Definitive Edition, 67% off for $9.89. This Definitive Edition is pretty memes, but Mafia 2 itself is a fantastic game. Great story, great characters, a little bit on the shorter side. That's the thing with Mafia, especially Mafia 1 and 2. They are more compact experiences, so to speak, and they get in, tell their story, and then they get out. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's all killer, less filler, and I feel like Mafia 1 and 2 did a good job with that. Mafia 3 kind of went the more filler route, but Mafia 2 was quite good. Definitely play Mafia 1 as well. Both games are really solid, but Mafia 2 sub 10 bucks here, pretty good deal there. Castle Crashers Remastered is 60% off for $5.99. Love me some Castle Crashers 1. I saw somebody really disagree with me when I one time said that Castle Crashers, I feel like, is a game that really relies on its co-op play, and they said that, hey, you can play the game solo and still have a great time. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Castle Crashers is a game that really needs to be played cooperatively. But hey, if you enjoy your side-scrolling beat-em-up style games, like Castle Crashers is an enjoyable game. The art style is great, the story's charming, comedic at times as well. Overall, Castle Crashers is a great game, and I think it is accentuated when you do play it cooperatively. It's just a great time as a co-op title. But if you want to play it solo, have at it. $5.99 for it is a pretty good pickup, and I would certainly give it a shout. Next up, we got Psycho Pass Mandatory Happiness, $5.99 on this. Now, this is a game that's certainly not going to be for everyone, but I wanted to mention this just on the basis that, hey, this lets me gush about Psycho Pass as an anime, which I absolutely recommend everybody to watch, and I would really recommend you to watch the Psycho Pass anime or have some knowledge of it before you play this game. It is something that you can enjoy. It is very much a visual novel style of experience, so no gameplay. It's not like you're going to be using the Dominator in this game in terms of, you know, it being a third-person shooter or something like that. That is not the case in Psycho Pass Mandatory Happiness. It is very much a story-driven visual novel, and hey, the story can get through some lulls and whatnot. Visual novels sometimes have the issue with that, but Psycho Pass is a great anime. 22 episodes. There's a second season. There's a lot of additional content, but watch the 22-episode first season. It's great. Awesome opening. Awesome soundtrack to that show as well, and yeah, go watch that if nothing else. But if you end up watching it and you really like it, check out Mandatory Happiness for $6. It's not a bad pickup, just, you know, this is definitely for fans that want more of the Psycho Pass world, which is, by the way, one of the most unique and compelling worlds that tackles a lot of cool thematics as well, more of a mature anime as well. It's just one of those classic animes that I was a fan of, and it's wild saying that it's a classic anime. It's over a decade old at this point, but feels like it was just yesterday that I was watching it. Nonetheless, $6 on that. Next up, we got Metro Redux, 80% off for $5.99. You got Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. I've talked about these games a lot. They are fantastic single-player, first-person shooters, great narratives, great atmospheres, and that's really the strongest element of Metro, in my opinion, is the atmosphere and how engrossing it is. A little bit of a darker tone for sure. A little bit on the shorter side, of course, being single-player FPSs, but good campaigns, and you're paying $5.99 and getting 2 games. Seemed like a good shout to me. Definitely would give that a recommendation. Next up, Valkyria Chronicles 4 Complete Edition, 80% off for $9.99. I think Valkyria Chronicles is a criminally underrated JRPG franchise. You know, it hasn't popped off even in like a second tier level like a Tales of, and I put Valkyria Chronicles, as far as quality goes, right at the level of like the Tales of games. Like, it's a really, really well done game. Totally a different style of experience compared to Tales of, but as far as quality JRPGs go, I wish it was at least that threshold from a notoriety standpoint, but VC for some reason hasn't really popped off like that. Maybe it's the tactical gameplay style, which, yes, I know some people are going to be pushed away from the tactics style of game. I'm not super into tactics games, and I loved Valkyria Chronicles. I feel like it's gonna be mostly accessible to everybody. It's not that difficult to figure out, and VC1 did have its annoying sections. I feel like VC4 did a good job of being super accessible. Great cast of characters, even if the main character is a little bit bland. I feel like VC1 had a relatively bland main character. Likable characters to an extent, but just a little bit lacking in depth, so to speak. But the cast is likable, and the gameplay is great. The art style is fantastic. Soundtrack's really good. VC4 is awesome. I hope that Sega someday does more with Valkyria Chronicles as an IP. I mean, it took, what, 7-8 years between Valkyria Chronicles 2 and Valkyria Chronicles 4 to come out here stateside. VC3 never even saw a release over here in the States, so that's something they could translate, and VC3 is awesome, but not gonna hold my breath for that. But VC4 for $9.99, Complete Edition with the DLC, great pickup there. Next up, we got Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition, $9.99 this. It's Fallout 4. I'm just giving this a mention because the upgrade is scheduled to come out in 2024, and if they decide to pull a Witcher and appreciate the price point, the sale price point of it, you guys will be happy that she picked up the Game of the Year edition. The DLC isn't all too great for Fallout 4. The base game's fine. It's no Fallout 3 or New Vegas, but it's pretty good in its own right. Next up, we got Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. $5.09 is available on Plus Extra. A lot of excitement for Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be something I talk about on this channel a lot heading into its March 22nd release. If you want to know why people are excited for it, try out Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. It shows its age for sure. It came out back in early 2012, but it's still a quality action RPG that is super challenging. Has a lot of content. This has the Dark Arisen expansion and a lot of content, like I said. So $5.09 for this. Definitely check that out. Next up, the Order 1886, baby. 50% off for $9.99. Look, I love the Order 1886. I also kind of hated it, spending $60 on it and getting a 5-hour game. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely not worth that. But guess what? At this point, it's $9.99. I feel like for this price point, that 5-hour campaign is worthwhile to go through. It's such a cool setting, such a cool cast classic characters as well. Main character has a level of grittiness to him, and I feel like, man, how this game ended, it set up the potential that will ultimately never be realized of what Order as an IP could have evolved into. Again, unfortunately, we'll never see the realization of that, but it's still a technical juggernaut in terms of its visuals, and this came out back 9 years ago, February of 2015, and I would still say Order 1886 is one of the best looking games that you can come across. You know, I wouldn't say it's the best looking game now since we've literally moved to console generation, but you get the idea. $9.99 for this is great. And lastly, God of War III Remastered is $9.99 if you're looking for the action-heavy God of War style of game. If you're one of the people that, you know, started God of War with God of War 2018, because for the newer generation, that was probably the God of War title that got them into the series. God of War 3 is worthwhile to go through. I've said it before, but I'm not as crazy about the classic God of War games as I am about 2018 and onwards. I feel like God of War totally reinventing itself did a lot of good, and I played all of the classic games. I even played Ascension. I played the PSP games. Really like the PSP games, but, you know, they're just not as my cup of tea as God of War 2018 is. But God of War 3 Remastered for $9.99 still definitely worthwhile to play through. Hopefully, we get some sort of God of War collection on PlayStation soon. We got God of War 1, 2, Chains of Olympus, Ghosts of Sparta, and Ascension. We got to get all of those, you know, on PlayStation 4 and 5, and even on PC. I think it would do very well there as well. But we'll see if that happens and comes to fruition. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $10. Links to all of these in the description box below. That's gonna do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.